welcome to Hydrocarbons, and in today's video we'll be looking at carboxylic acid, which are also the members, or rather the derived hydrocarbons. Now these are what we call derived hydrocarbons because we derive these carboxylic acids from the ethane. So what are carboxylic acids? Now you should be able to understand so the principal fundamentals of carboxylic acid, what you need to know is first of all, the general molecular formula, okay? And then also understand structure okay. So when you look at these are basically some of the fundamentals that we need to understand under these carboxylic acids, okay? So now, you should be able to understand the general molecular formula of these carboxylic acids, and also from after we understand what is the general molecular formula that belongs to this, then now we can begin by understanding from those compounds, or rather the members of this family, from 1 all the way up to 2. Okay, so I'm going to do example of maybe propanoic acid or even ethanoic acid, but one of the simplest to understand is just methanoic acid. Now, before we get into the idea of the formula and all the structures that it actually forms, let us first of all understand the major concept about carboxylic acid. So the first principle that we have to understand is the functional group, okay? So understanding what is the functional group of the carboxylic acid is actually very important, okay? Because this will help us to understand what is the molecular, sort of like the combination of the atoms within the molecule of that functional group, okay? So we can tell to say, if we see this kind of a functional group, then we will be able to understand to which of the hydrocarbons that this kind of the compound, or rather this family or class of hydrocarbons, okay, belongs to. Is it the carboxylic acid? Is it the alcohols? Is it the the ethane, or alkenes or alkanes, and so on. Okay. So the functional group of these is this COOH. Okay. So this is basically the functional group. So remember that the functional groups are very important, okay? They determine the chemical properties of that particular compound, or more especially an organic compound. So they are very important, and what you're saying is under the carboxylic acids, we are saying that the functional group is COOH, okay? Now we have to kind of understand also how this functional group we can structurally draw it, okay? So that we know not just molecularly but also structurally see how we can be able to identify. So this is drawn as C, and then we have the double bond, and then we have this, okay? Now, when you look at this, the most important thing when it comes to understanding organic compounds, okay, is that carbon should be able to form 4 bonds, okay, that other atoms can be attached to the carbon, okay. So altogether, okay, all these atoms must be able to form 4 bonds. So we have 1, 2, 3. So this particularly attaches to the carbon with 3 bonds. Okay, so we have 2 bonds here and 1 bond. Now remember that 1 bond, now this 1 bond, okay, this 1 bond has actually 2 electrons. So this bond, 1 bond is equal to 2 electrons, okay? So meaning if I have 2 bonds, then I'm going to have 2, okay? So 2, meaning 2 times 2, I'm going to have 4 electrons, okay? And then I have also 1 bond, meaning I have 2 electrons, okay? So meaning this one bond equals to 2 electrons. So altogether, now you can see that altogether this actually has got 6 atoms combined altogether. This implies that when you attach one other bond, okay, with another carbon, let's say for example, then this implies that this 6 electrons plus 2 electrons, that forms this 1 bond. So this gives us this part of carbon is actually balanced, okay? Now, when you look at this functional group, okay, of the carboxylic acid. So what this means that this is the structure, or rather the functional group of the carboxylic acid forms this kind of a structure. So once we identify this structure, it is very easy for us to also predict, okay, the name of the compound based on the number of atoms of carbon in that particular compound, and we can also tell to which family of the hydrocarbons does actually this kind of a compound belongs to. Is it the carboxylic acid? Is it the esters? Is it the ketones? Or is it the alkanes, the alkenes, and other families or classes of hydrocarbons? Or is it maybe the alcohols? So basically, this is what you need to understand, that the carboxylic acid, okay, they have a functional group which is molecularly COOH. And then structurally, this is how you can actually draw this kind of the functional group. Now, having said that, now we can now begin to have understand the general molecular formula of the carboxylic acid. So make sure you stay tuned. And remember, by the way, if you're watching me for the first time and you'd like to receive more of these videos, remember, all you have to do is just subscribe to my channels. If you're watching me on YouTube, just click on subscription, or rather subscribe, so that you never miss any video once we do post on our YouTube channel. But if you are also watching me from Facebook, you can just follow and also like my page, which is just Mike Water, or you can also go or rather search for Radical Garden. Also, the name of the channel on YouTube is Radical Garden, and you can also do the same, search for Radical Garden on TikTok, and follow me if you want to actually learn with us. So back to this. So this is basically the functional group. So now let us go to the general molecular formula.